Most people think stem cell therapy is about the cells. But here's a question. Why do some patients see incredible results while others see little to no change? Same treatment, same clinic, completely different outcomes. In many cases, it's not the cells that determine the outcome. It's the environment those cells go into. And it's something many patients only realize after they've gone through treatment. If you're considering stem cell therapy and trying to get the decision right, understanding this can make a huge difference. In this video, I speak with Dr. William Joaquin, a board-certified anesthesiologist and regenerative medicine physician. And we break down what actually drives results and why factors like inflammation, stress, and your overall biology can quietly influence the outcome.
When we use stem cells, we are using our own biology to heal. So the habits of the patients is really an essential part of the regenerative therapies.
And when you say habits, what sort of habits are you talking about?
Sleep, food, especially anti-inflammatory diet, mindfulness, yoga, breath work, and of course, exercise.
I heard you discuss a case where in certain patients who had high levels of stress, their cells didn't grow. Can you share that with us?
Yeah, I talked with a lab who cultured the cells of the patient. And when the patient has depression, stress, sadness, the cells grow slower. And sometimes the stem cells don't grow at all.
So if the environment matters, the next question is, what is it exactly that creates a good environment for these cells? So let's talk about the different factors that can inhibit someone's stem cell treatment or regenerative treatment or enhance it. You mentioned briefly like nutrition and emotions and sleep. Let's go into nutrition. Like, what are some of the things that a patient should not do and what are things that they should do?
Patients should not eat, especially 5 different foods. Pork, the second one is sugar and artificial sweeteners. The third one is gluten. The fourth is dairy products. And the last one is fried foods.
And what are these 5 things doing that inhibit regenerative treatment?
They increase the inflammation and increase oxidative stress in our bodies. If we don't have a clean matrix, when we put the cells, those cells don't work well.
Where is the matrix in a person's body that you're talking about?
It's like a container with a kind of gel where the cells are contained.
And that matrix makes a difference, whether it's a healthy matrix, whether it's got the nutrients.
Imagine a fish tank. The fish tank contains the fish inside. If the fish tank is clear, the fish are clean. But if the fish tank is cloudy, the fish are not so healthy. If you don't change that water, finally the fish die.
If this information is helpful, please subscribe. And if you would like a structured way to think about stem cell therapy and avoid the common mistakes, I've created a free guide. You'll find a link in the description below. So you mentioned 5 foods to avoid because they cause inflammation and think oxidative stress.
Yes.
What is oxidative stress? Why does it make a difference? And why should we even care?
When we receive stem cell therapy, it helps to release some communication factors that activate our cells. But if we have too much oxidative stress, that communication response is not so good. So we don't get the result that we want with the stem cells treatment.
And what's the problem with inflammation? Why should a patient care about how inflamed they are before they get stem cell therapy?
When we have a surgery, for instance, we need that inflammation as a phase to produce healing processes is necessary. However, when we have too much inflammation, stem cell treatments will not help us.
And what's the foods then that a patient should eat in preparation for a stem cell treatment or after a stem cell treatment? What sort of foods should they focus on?
Especially proteins, eggs, chicken, fish, good meat, carbohydrates from vegetables and fruits, not too much fruits, and some cereals like rice, maybe.
And what's the problem with insulin and sugar as it relates to stem cells and regenerative therapy?
Too much sugar and too much insulin produce more oxidative stress and inflammation.
How long would you ideally start a new way of eating, let's call it, before you do stem cell therapy? And how long would it have to continue afterwards to get the best effects?
So in some patients, we can start with the stem cells treatment at the same time when we start with the dietary changes and supplements, etc. But in another cases, we have to wait because we notice that these patients have some really bad habits. So I prefer to start with these changes before starting the regenerative treatment with the stem cells.
And what would happen if they just said, give me the stem cells now? Would they get some effect, no effect?
The main actor or actress in the healing process is the patient. If the patient prefers to receive their stem cells and still drink alcohol, is their choice. But the patient knows that is not so good. In the end, is the patient who is primarily responsible for the result of the therapy.
So we've talked about the internal environment, but there are some other factors that are just as important. One of those is sleep. So we've talked about nutrition. Let's talk about sleep.
I motivate my patients to sleep at least 7 to 9 hours, starting early at night, 9 or 10 p.m.
Is it enough to go to bed early, or is there more to it than that?
It's not only going to bed early and sleeping 7 to 9 hours. We need some phases, some sleep phases. The deep sleep phase is more pronounced during the first hours of sleep. If we take pills to induce sleep, maybe we don't have that phase. And during that phase, our body heal, our body clean, our body goes much better.
And what about exercise? Is physical exercise necessary to improve stem cell treatment?
Exercise helps our body. It helps our own stem cells. If it helps with our own stem cells, it will help improve a treatment with the stem cells. The exercise release anti-inflammatory modulators. It helps with our mood, our sleep, our memory. So the exercise improves the stem cells treatment. The stem cells will work better in patients who do exercise.
And is any exercise okay? Can a patient just do the exercise that they like?
We have to do more than only walk with the dog. We have to do more than this. Not too much, not too little. Too much is not good. It's stress as well for our body. And we know that stress creates more inflammation.
So hopefully now you have a clearer idea on why some stem cell therapies succeed and others don't. It's not about the treatment. It's about the environment those cells go into, your habits, your biology, your overall state of health. And that's why two people can receive the exact same procedure and get completely different results. What we've covered here is one of the key pieces. In the next videos, I'll walk you through the other key factors beyond sleep, nutrition, and exercise. If you're considering stem cell therapy, understanding this before you move forward can make a significant difference. If you want a clearer framework of how to approach this properly, I've put together a free guide. You'll find it in the description below. And if you're already at the point where you're seriously thinking about treatment and you want some help thinking through your specific situation, that's something I can help you with. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.